Hey, I'm Lyndall, and welcome back to Monday Mindfulness Expanded. This week's affirmation is I trust my healing, and the thought pattern is my recovery doesn't need to look like anyone else's. So let's dive in. Something I've noticed in my own journey is how easy it is to compare our healing with other people. Whether it's recovery from grief or trauma or illness or even heartbreak, we look around and measure ourselves against other people's timelines. I used to wonder, shouldn't I be further along by now? Or why is it so easy for them and it looks so difficult for me? Or it is so difficult for me. But the truth is that healing isn't linear and it's not a race. My healing and your healing doesn't need to look like anyone else's. Trusting your healing has been about, trusting my healing has been about learning to honor the pace and the shape of my own process, even when it doesn't fit the picture of what I thought it would. Because healing is often portrayed as neat or quick or predictable. And in reality, it's messy. It's messy as hell. And it's got so many layers and it's so unique to each of us. And comparison is one of the biggest blocks in recovery. We think we should be over it because someone else appears to be. And, trusting your healing means releasing the pressure to perform or to progress, allowing yourself to just be. And just be in a space that's presence over perfection. Because sometimes our healing can look like huge breakthroughs and other times it looks like small, quiet steps. Just getting out of bed or saying no or choosing to invest in yourself or rest. And no one can tell you the right pace or the right way. Your body, your soul, your spirit knows. Because recovery is not about returning to who you were. It's about becoming who you are now, carrying the wisdom that your experience has given you. And something else I've been reflecting on recently is how many healers and teachers or practitioners teach from their own conditioning, from their way of doing things, from their patterns. And while there can be value in learning from others, I'm not negating any of that. If you're not secure in yourself, it can become confusing. Like you end up feeling bombarded with different approaches, each claiming to be the way. Like I can tell you, I've definitely felt like that when I've been frustrated with a problem I couldn't fix. Like I needed to choose between competing systems when what I really needed was a space to feel into where I needed to heal. And trusting your healing means recognizing your resonance. Like, does it resonate for you? That's why you hear a lot of people say, take what resonates and leave the rest. And it's so true. Because no single teacher, no single modality, and no single framework can define your recovery. If you're always outsourcing to someone else's system, you end up trying to heal in their image. But if you trust your own process, you reclaim your authority, your timing, and your medicine. Let me put this question to you. What if healing isn't about getting back to normal, but about creating a new normal that honors what you've been through? What if the pauses, the slow delays, the cracks in the timeline aren't failures, but part of it, part of the learning, part of the medicine? We can't measure healing against somebody else's body or someone else's story or someone else's framework even. Your healing doesn't need to be fast. It doesn't need to be tidy. It doesn't need to be public. It just needs to be yours. Because when we stop comparing and when we stop outsourcing, we begin to see the intelligence of our own process, and that is beautiful. Trusting your healing isn't about believing that your body and your soul know the way forward, even if it doesn't look like anyone else's path. So this week, I would love you to notice where you might be juggling your healing process. Listen to when that voice comes up, the one that says you should be further along, or you should be doing it like someone else. Pause and remind yourself, am I juggling my healing? Am I judging myself? Trust yourself, trust your healing. Your recovery doesn't need to look like anyone else's. And when you notice that, take one tiny little small action that feels right for you. Whether that's resting or journaling or moving your body, going for that walk, or simply just doing nothing. And notice how it feels to give yourself that kind of permission. So if this resonated, come find me on Instagram at I'm Stepping Into Me and tell me what's one way you're learning to trust your healing. I'd love to hear from you. See you next time.